everyone, and welcome back to the Corner of Remnant. I timed that badly with the music, it just started to re-loop. I'm your host, Larissa, and joined by co-host Imperiodon, and
Hi.
Today we are discussing Chapter 3 of RWBY Volume 8, and don't mind me, I am tired. Oh dear, I had the title wrong, with the wrong game, then the wrong episode, and, you know, yeah, so...
All of the above. It's been a long week.
Yes, it has been. But we're back.
Yes.
Yes, so...
discuss strings.
Yes, Strings. That was an interesting title. I wonder if it was going to relate to Penny and, like, being Pinocchio and all of that, but yes, in a way.
One of my favourite things from this season, and I hope it continues, and from what we know of episode 4, which we already know the details for...
We do?
Is that I hope so far every single title has been one word.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's like
yes.
one short word, and I hope that's like a theme throughout the entire season.
Yes.
It's like we had Divide, Refuge, Strings, and now we have, if you don't want to know, we have Fault.
Fault.
Chapter 4.
Oh.
Which seems like we're going to be touching on all stories.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a Cinder reference, we have the thumbnail reference, which is Ren and Yang, and then we have a reference with the rest of our team laying low. The only thing we might not touch is Ironwood and Penny. We might not touch those two arcs.
Or it might be just a thing at the end of the episode, because they like to be ending these on something bad happening or a cliffhanger.
Yeah, they definitely haven't been pulling their punches in terms of like, hey, we teased this thing. Okay, we teased it obviously. Okay, so here it is.
Yeah,
you know, whereas like everyone's like, ooh, penny hacking this episode.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah, okay, yeah, no, okay, we're not dragging that out because it's obvious. Okay, damn, well, now I'm scared.
Yep, yeah, and it was like with Oscar getting kidnapped by the Hound.
Yeah, they're not dragging things out unnecessarily.
Yeah. It's funny because I was reading some of the comments on the Rooster website, and people were complaining about how they're ending these episodes on a bit of like a bad thing or a cliffhanger. Like, you do realise they used to do that all the time. Back in Volume 4 and Volume 5, they did that all the time. You've just been fortunate they didn't do it with 6 and 7 as much, and now they're doing it with 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to think to the ends of the other episodes. Obviously we had Salem, then we had Oscar being taken away, now we have...
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, in their defense, I did 3 in a row. I didn't really notice that.
Well, we had Ironwood shooting the councilman. That was the first episode. And
we also had Salem telling us... The actual end was Salem...
Oh, yeah. I didn't really think of that, I guess, but yes, that's true. With the Hound. But it was more the...
and technically, episode 1 was the intro, which was also
dark. That's true.
Darkish.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe people have a point.
Yeah, and then, of course... Chapter 2 ending with Oscar getting kidnapped, and Chapter 3 ending with the whole what's hacking Penny thing, which I don't like. Okay.
I'm just reminding myself now of my eyes, which are in desperate need of repair. Okay, I'm starting to see your point. I'm starting to see Fuel's point. Yeah, that's I mean, they're not pulling any punches, they're not delaying anything, not dragging anything out. We just got like confirmation that that's going to be happening. And
that's what they're working on at the moment.
Considering the 2 people who Penny are going to be with are probably the 2 more expendable people in the cast.
That's true. Though they also probably the 2 people who probably wouldn't be able to stop her escaping either, unfortunately.
I'm just saying, I know there are red flags for Ren and Nora.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest red flags are for Maria and Pietro.
Unfortunately.
So if Penny goes off the cuff, they're 2 people who can't defend themselves, and 2 people who, if they were to be killed, would hurt incredibly, but probably wouldn't delay the main story enough.
No.
So, perfect.
I hope they don't die. I just... If she ends up getting hacked, she just leaves.
But I'm sure the argument can be made to, you know, what more do those 2 have to add to the story?
Yeah.
From just a cynical standpoint, you know, Maria has been criticized.
You don't have to kill everyone who no longer has a contribution to the story. But yeah, like...
Yeah, I'm still mad about Vinol. Anyway.
Yes.
I am. But, so I'm very concerned for those 2 in particular, but like I said as well, Nora especially
Mm.
after this episode definitely had some red flags because I don't know about you, but just that in that moment, and we'll go back and
We'll go over the episode in a second.
go start once we just get our initial thoughts out of the way. But obviously we have like the be strong and hit stuff and
yes,
kind of like the darkness about that when she said it the first time. The second time, it just felt very like I guess to put it in a more like not polite way. Anyway, to put it in a fairer way, it was very much just like a effort moment.
Yeah,
like, it was just like it's like she was just down. It's like I don't care if this,
like
whatever. Let's just do this because Penny's more important, and or whatever the reason could be.
She was the only one who sort of could get him out of that situation.
Yeah, like it didn't feel to me as like I'm the only one that can do this. It felt to me like screw it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't. Which is quite dark.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, poor Nora.
So, and thankfully, again, she survived.
Yes.
But I also like to because the idea with Nora has always been, well, why don't we just have a taser? Why don't we just have electric dust all the time to power up? Clearly, it only takes so much.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
it was a nice justification on her limitations.
Yeah.
Of why that's not used more frequently, because it does seem to have some lingering effects. And, we also had a similar thing with Ruby's semblance. We had a few semblance explanations.
Yes, we did actually this episode too, yeah.
More subtle in this episode.
Yes.
So the red flags for Maria and Pietro and Nora, in herself, dark red flags in her self-opinion of herself.
Well, I think she's just trying to find... Like she said in that little chat, which I loved, but yeah, who is she without Ren? Has always been Renanora. Like, to find her own identity without her, without him always being there, so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely questioning a lot of things are.
And also, I really like that what Blake said as well. Like, when you're close to someone, they do become part of you, but they're not all of you. You still need to have your own person, and I think that's also why Blake, even though she would have liked to have been with Yang, she wanted to do this, so to be apart from her. Yeah.
While it's probably not my favorite character element of the series, I do appreciate the fact of how Blake does have the wisdom in these kind of situations.
Yeah.
I guess not my favorite thing because people freak out about it and just go, "Oh, look at Blake," and just like not my personal thing. But I do like that she does have the wisdom for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to like questionable relations and stuff like that. So I appreciate that, and also, but I probably liked a bit more was like Weiss and her perspective of like the sisters and stuff.
The sisters,
that I like quite a lot.
They also have differing views on things, yeah.
Yeah, because Weiss and Winter have been very different their entire lives, and seeing now the similarities she has with Winter between Ruby and Yang.
Yeah.
I quite liked. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. It was great. It was focused on the one story,
Yeah, rather than hopping between different ones.
Yeah, that surprised me. That surprised me when I was watching through it. And like, this is 18 minutes. We haven't seen anything else yet. I knew we weren't going to see more of the Oscar stuff. I knew they were going to cliffhanger us and leave that for an extra episode.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I guess we're at that point now where the stories can so recondense that there isn't too many paths to split off to and see. I guess maybe I was expecting more villain stuff. I quite liked it. This is the streamline. Let's get this bit over with. Get this wrapped up, because now we question well, what is this team going to do for the rest of the volume?
Yeah,
because they wrapped their whole what could have been like a multi-episode arc into one episode.
Yeah,
so I'm curious what the plans are for the rest of Team Rainbow plus Penny.
Yeah, well, I guess they probably return to the others. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the episode 4 description mentions, and again, don't want to hear that. Pick away. It mentions that they're going to be laying low, so they're going to go somewhere to lay low. Now, my initial thought was that, or maybe they're going to go to the Schnee Manor, because we have to tie. We have to tie Whitley and Willow in at some point. And I'm thinking, how are we? Well,
that would mean they'll have to go back up to Alice, because at the moment they're leaving the bottom of Alice. They're just flown over to where Amity is.
And the reason why I've kind of gone off that idea was because the idea of May saying we need to get off this rock. So assuming they're not going to go somewhere else in Atlas, they're going to go somewhere in Mantle.
Mantle, I'd say, yeah. Might rejoin the others or something, I'm sure.
I'd like them to go to Schnee Manor. I'm not expecting them to, for the reason.
I think we'll definitely get something with the Schnee Manor at some point, because we did see Whitley and Willow in the intro, so we'll get them at some point.
We still have to cut back to the prison.
Oh, yeah. We've still got the prison as well, yeah. Well, we know now what they're doing with Watts. They didn't drag him off to questioning. Instead, they've, Ironwood's using him.
I do like that Ironwood at least was threatening him. This wasn't like a teamwork. Because when I saw that, I'm like, oh, come on, Ironwood. Everyone hates you enough already. Don't be that bad. I was like, okay, at least he's threatening him. At least
the trust is palpable. And you just see the 3 guards there pointing their guns at him.
At least they're not teaming up in like, a good sense.
Thing is though, and I want to mention about this as well, it's just, it frustrates me. Because Ironwood's so narrow-minded, need to get the relic out of the vault and raise Atlas. And I think he's not thinking it all the way through, because Watts is hacking Penny. Watts is going to be in control of Penny. Watts works for Salem. So what's going to happen as soon as they get the relic out of the vault? He's likely going to make Penny take it to Salem.
The only
and it frustrates me.
No, that's a very fair point. But my counter argument is that Watts said what we are both after.
Yeah, so well, he's after the relic too.
It seems the reason why I say that is it seems to me that Ironwood might have offered Watts something that not necessarily swayed him, but maybe has gained a bit of
I think he's just using the situation to his favour. I still think he's still working for Salem.
If that's the case, though, why would he outright say that in the open then? That we're both what we're after if he's going under Ironwood, working with Ironwood to get the, to do Salem's bidding. Why would he be so open about it? It does that, and that's again, I'm just looking at the, trying to, divert your frustration. That's all.
Meh.
Again, just playing devil's advocate as I often do. just trying to look at everything from the least annoying perspective.
I still think he's going to betray Ironwood to take the relic of the sun.
I don't disagree with you. But again, I'm like you said, it seems like an odd choice for Ironwood to make, so I'm just trying to justify it.
Okay.
Because rather than being frustrated, I'm trying to justify it.
Okay.
And we don't have all the pieces to that puzzle yet, I don't think. They'll be interesting. And again, it might be a matter of, you take control, but, I don't know. I'll be interested to see where it goes, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking control of Penny, I will say that, man, poor Ruby. All of her best candidates all have old men in their heads.
I didn't even think of that.
Granted, Weiss doesn't anymore, but she used to for a very long time. I have an old man in her head talking over her and all that stuff. At least Weiss got away from hers.
Yeah.
Man, poor Penny and Oscar, and that just poor Ruby. She can't catch a break.
No
matter who she deals with, she has to deal with an old man.
I thought that scene was quite funny. It was good. But starting back at the start of the episode, we've been bouncing around. I did like how it was Ruby going through the pipes at the start of the episode. I was like, what's going on? Then I realised that's what it was.
No idea.
I didn't until
what the video team was doing. If maybe I'm just unfamiliar with Pneumatic Tubes, but I did not recognise that. I thought we were listening to something like villain related.
Well, as I said, I didn't know what it was until it actually showed Ruby getting out of the thing. Like, oh, that's what it was. But yeah.
I'm trying to think too. Have all of our openings so far been?
No, I don't think they all have been.
Or is it just that one? I feel like.
They've done it in the past, but I'm pretty sure this season so far.
We had the scraping in the first episode before
yeah.
And how did episode 2 start?
It was in the prison with Robin talking. I think that was
that wasn't audio misdirection. That wasn't audio misdirection.
It was an audio misdirection.
It just wasn't a black screen because we saw.
Yeah.
Clover's
Crow.
And Robin talking. So so it doesn't quite count, but it's similar.
Yeah. They have done it in the past.
I'm just again. I'm trying to tie these trends together, like the titles, and now seeing if maybe how they all start the same. But that's a lot less loose than that. But we did get the Weiss reaction, which I think you were saying you were hoping to see.
Yeah. Weiss was she was annoyed with Nora. That was funny. I did like how they the whole part with them sneaking through the compound. I really enjoyed all of that. The elevator scene, Nora pressing all the buttons, and the scene with tripping the guy over with the coffee, and that poster, you know, with the don't food and drink in the command. I loved all of this. It's great. And Penny explaining Ruby's semblance and all of that. I loved the whole thing. It was great. It was really good.
I remember I really enjoyed Blake's situation.
We'll never do this again. This is another thing I'll never do again. Poor Blake.
That was kind of funny. Again, it just adds to this idea that, again, now that Blake is, you know, now that Adam isn't a factor anymore, that we are starting to see like the real Blake, who kind of are starting to see her come out of her shell. Like, again, she's being this wise, supportive person. And then she's also being a bit more lax and a bit more carefree. And I do enjoy that.
And it's good seeing her without Yang as well. Again, it's just nice to see her as her without, you know.
Seeing her interacting with, like, Ruby, I know, is a big one.
And Weiss and Nora too.
And all the others. I also like... this episode was the first episode, too, that really highlighted for me how the production has changed for Ruby this volume because of circumstances and because everyone's working from home.
Yeah.
Because, again, and feel free to agree with me or disagree with me, it just seems like this episode, a lot of the animations were interesting in the sense that a lot of the idle animations had a bit more personality to them, had a bit more, like, we had a bit more flavor, a bit more stylism, like, Penny pointing around, or Nora acting, having an ear pulled, like, some of the face expressions and stuff. It seemed like the animators, obviously because they're working from home, probably had a bit more time, a bit more freedom to work on this stuff and kind of have a bit more fun with it, because, you know, they didn't have a director breathing down their neck, you know, and they kind of had, you know, it's like, imagine working from home, and this is an interesting thing I'm curious about, the working from home aspect for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, doing your work, and, okay, your shift ends, and you can stop working, but it's like, yeah, I won't get paid for it, but I'm so close to finishing this, I'm just going to do a little bit more. You know, I imagine there's a bit of drive to kind of put a bit more effort into it, because you're at home, because you can keep working. You don't have to just leave work and go home, kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah. Like, working from home is, because I did work from home for a bit, and you're in your, like, in your comfort zone, you're in your home environment. I found it's definitely more relaxed, yet I was still able to get a lot of work done, sort of thing. It's interesting. I do miss working from home because I'm back in the office now, but I really enjoyed working from home. I know it's not for everyone.
and see, that's a positive example of how, like, COVID kind of worked in Ruby's favor, because I feel like a lot of the animations have a bit more character to them than they did, because people have a bit more free time to kind of have fun with it.
I think also it probably helped the fact that they've been ahead with the writing for quite a while, so that's given them more time to focus on these scenes a little bit more and add a bit more of that extra work and that little extra detail. So far in the episodes, they definitely felt more complete, and just the detail and everything's really good. Like the scene with Chapter 2, where you can see the Hound in different parts of the episode following them. Like, I love that little detail, which they didn't need to put in there, but they did, because I thought that was really good. And as we've already mentioned, the facial expressions and everything seem to be more detailed too. So,
but I do think it does go both ways, because there were problems I had with some of the animations episode, because while I think some of the idle stuff can be a bit more characteristic and stuff, I will say that the first time I watched the fight in this episode, I did struggle a bit to kind of keep track of what was happening.
Yeah.
In some cases, and I think that's more of the disadvantage of not having a director breathing down your neck. You know, where it's being like, you know, and fight animations I imagine a lot harder.
Oh gosh, they will be. There's a lot involved in them.
More to do and stuff, because, like, Kerry has mentioned before too, like when he's directing the animation, or when, like, Melanie is also the lead animator now too, where it's like the idea of, like, oh, can we add a few more frames here? Can we take a few less frames there, just to kind of make things a bit more clearer, make things a bit more faster, make things a bit more slower.
Yeah.
With this era of, you know, like, do an animation, you either, if you're in person, you show your director, they can make preferences. With COVID, I imagine it's like, finish the animation, render it, send it off, have someone look at it, then, like, here's your notes, send back. I imagine providing it so much harder to go back and add and stuff.
It's true.
So, again, I'm saying this with I understand, you're completely forgiven, no criticism whatsoever, I'm saying this. Yeah. But it just seems to me like there's the positives and negatives of the situation.
Yeah.
Well, again, some of the fun stuff, they're having more time to do. Some of the harder stuff, they don't have the freedom to go back and improve it.
Yeah. I guess.
I'm curious if you agree with me, if you noticed that yourself.
Well, no. With the fight scene, it was interesting for a couple of different reasons. This was the first time we'd seen Penny use her maiden powers.
Yeah.
It was the first time she's actually really used them.
Yeah.
And fighting with them. And it was a 1-on-4 fight as well. And so that's a lot of people to coordinate in a fight scene.
Yeah.
Especially plus add on top of that the maiden powers. So we've got the strong wind, we had the hail, we also had that light that she used as well at one point, which was interesting. I thought the fight scene was pretty good. I didn't find it too hard to sort of watch what was going on. There was a lot going on in the fight, but then again, you got 4 people fighting one person and the maiden powers.
Yeah, I guess you're right too. And we're also talking about a robot who's going to move a bit faster or differently to most people, and a speedster. So I guess that is kind of fair, because again, a lot of the things I'm talking about are more like the Harriet and White.
Yeah, well, Harriet
and Penny interactions, where it's like Penny's using a rocket to flip around and kick someone up, or Harriet's going a flush of blows and stuff. And again, I completely forgive it. I don't criticize it at all. I was just curious again if that's something that was just me, or if that was something, because like I said, I thought the idol facial stuff was better than average. I thought some of the fighting was a little less, but it was also the very first fight, and
I think
it might be the first thing they did in COVID, fight wise. So maybe they'll learn from that for some of the later stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, I think too with this fight, and I don't know when I was having a chat to Kelly about it, and the fact like Penny kind of lost this fight, and like, well, she's a android, a robot with maiden powers. Though, as I said to her with this as well, Penny was relying a lot more on her actual weapons than on the maiden powers during this fight, because, like I said before, she hasn't used them before. Yeah. But I think also she has a lot of turmoil within her at the moment, as we're seeing prior to this fight. We're trying to sort out who she is and where she's going from here. She only just found out that she's going to have to go out to Amity and not be with her friends. So she has a lot on her mind at the moment, which would have distracted her during the fight, but also trying to control these maiden powers as well as controlling her own weapons and things too, and fighting against 4 experienced huntsmen, which didn't help the situation either.
For me personally, I had no problem with the fight, like story-wise, or like who won, or like who was like winning or anything like that. I guess all my stuff just stems from, behind the scenes animation wise. I had no problem with like the power scaling or whatever you want to call it. I quite liked the fight, how it went down. I thought it made complete sense. Yeah. I loved Penny, using her maiden powers, but she didn't use anything, insane. She'd use anything over the top, because again, she's not as experienced. She's
not used to using them. Like the hail was small, they could have been bigger, but she's learning to control this, trying to control the weather effects as well as fighting herself. It would have been very, very difficult to control both. So
I thought the fight was quite fair in like
I thought it was good
how it should have gone.
For
sure. Moving back to like I said, the sneaking scene. Like I said, the elevator scene was subtle, but it was quite funny.
And it also reminded me of that one back in Volume 2 when Cinda was sneaking around and I had the 2 guys in the elevator. What's the password? What's the Wi-Fi password? It reminded me of that, but I liked how the soldiers in that elevator...
That's a very good point, though.
But they were actually talking about the Grim Horde and Salem, basically. So it was cool to see their point of view on things.
I like, too, that we're like, almost every episode, we're getting, like, a reference of, like, yes, there's a huge horde of Grim out there, but they're not attacking. They're just waiting. So kind of, we're getting, like, while it's like, everyone's like, oh, Atlas should be on fire, Salem arrived, blah, 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 blah. Like, before the season came out, like, every episode they're taking the opportunity to be like, she's waiting. It's a chess game. She's just biding her time, waiting for Ironwood to crack and give her the relic before she has to do anything drastic, I'm sure is her intention. We then, we then moved into, like,
the Central Command.
It's like no place else to go. It's through Central Command. It's like, oh well, damn. And I love this scene. This is probably one of my favorite scenes ever in RWBY so far. I loved again, like everyone, like Penny explaining her semblance. It's like okay, that's what I've always thought it would be. Like
that.
It's no surprise to me or anything like that. I thought that's always how I've interpreted.
Because RWBY's just been figuring out, and only really recently with the training with the Aesops, realizing that she can control going through objects and around objects and stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense. And she has previously picked up people. Like she picked up Nora back in Volume 4 and Weiss back in Volume 6.
Yep.
But it was just a cool confirmation, and also just for Ruby too, that she can do that with multiple people. So
I love Penny doing it as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that throwback to the, you knew Blake was a bonus before I did.
Yeah, that was my favorite line.
Throwback to Volume 1.
That was so good. And it really makes me think too, because like I've had people, I've seen the theories before I'm trying to wait. I should have thought how to say this beforehand. That like,
what?
I've heard theories and stuff in the past of people saying that like Ruby has like ADHD or Ruby has some sort of like mental health condition. Again, I don't know the words here, so I apologize. And it's like, you know, I've always thought Ruby was quite quirky and quite just, you know, just like fun loving and all that kind of stuff. But like this was the first thing that kind of made me think like, yeah, maybe she does, and I think that'd be really cool. Like that's kind of cool. Like, when she's doing stuff. If she's that way, like, you know, whether it's ADHD or Asperger's, like again, I'm not too familiar. But it'd just be cool. It'd be cool, like if like the series is over and like that just came out and like everyone's like, oh, cool, like look, she'd be inspiration for people like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or not again, like I think she's just like she's just naive, just that kind of child person either way. But no, I quite liked it. Yeah, like the whole Blake, she's a force provider. I love that so much. I love that line.
That was funny. It's a good throwback. We had some good throwbacks in this episode.
Then had what some people were interpreting to be Velvet's father. We heard about him in the After the Fall.
Oh, of course, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
And we also with the dad mug and stuff, and we knew he was our Elysian scientist. Again, I don't think
it had the A scribbled out and said had you, so it was number 1 dad, I think.
Yeah. There's another thing too, like the second I heard that guy scream when the coffee was like, okay, that is 100% just someone in their closet that they've made into a sound booth, and it's just screaming. It sounded so good, but clearly not in a recording booth.
Yeah.
It just sounded like echoey. You could hear the reverb, and it was just so weirdly funny. It just like.
It was hilarious. That whole scene was so funny. Read the side, Bill. Read the side.
I love that episode. An artist I follow on Twitter Mizers, I think Mizers, who was pretty well known for doing this like grim, shark design.
Oh yes, yeah.
The megalith design.
Yeah.
No, my earbuds have just kicked for some reason. Yeah, and it was funny. After the episode, she tweeted out that artwork again, and it looked just like the shark from the poster.
Ah, of course, yeah. I like that. It's so good. I hope they they add the poster to the merch line, because I'll love to get one of those. It's so cool.
And like you said too, with Ruby using a semblance, I love everyone's reactions to it.
Yes.
Like Nora had done it before, Weiss had done it before, they were both happy. Penny knew she could do it, so she was like,
it's like, yes, it worked.
Like the one who had not done it before just did not enjoy that at all.
No, so that's another thing I did not ever want to do again.
Yeah. I did think that Ruby striking a pose after it was a bit too silly.
I loved it. I thought
that's just me. I have no problem with it. That's just me.
I thought the pose looked a bit like a Sailor Moon pose. I thought someone's going to mention it on my reaction, because I said, is that a Sailor Moon pose?
I think that's what it was meant. I think that's what it was meant to be.
I just noticed the bot hasn't posted any of our messengers either. Stupid thing.
Oh, how rude. Yeah,
it's been doing that a lot recently. Yeah, but overall, I really loved that scene. It was so good.
Yeah, then we get into the we also see Penny's hacking finger.
Oh yeah.
Ruby loving that again, going back to how much Ruby, loves like gadgets and weapons and that kind of stuff. So I love that.
Yes.
Little moment.
Little moment there.
That's when we get into the scene with Nora, Blake, and Weiss, which we already discussed. But
yeah,
I love that scene. That was really good.
Yeah, I loved just the subtle things. I really liked Blake spinning around on the chair. I thought that was really cool. Ruby's reactions to Pietro taking over Penny. I like how she said Penny also like, okay, Dad, I'm ready. Like she knew it was going to be an uncomfortable experience with him controlling.
There was something very satisfying about seeing Penny actually be robotic.
Yeah.
That's something I felt really satisfying about that, because I feel like that's something that maybe she should have had. She maybe should be more often, but I like this as like a way to kind of show, like, remind us that, remember, she's a robot kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. That was really cool, but it also showed how someone could remote in and control her as well,
which was a nice tease.
Which I think was the purpose of that little scene, even though like it had a reason for Pietro doing it. It also to show us that she can be controlled.
And remember, I'm pretty sure I theorized back last volume.
Yeah.
That while Arthur ended up having a gun, I authorized that his weapon would be basically a version of Penny that he could control remotely.
Yeah.
Which I'm just saying seems like that might be
where
we're going. But I think Penny will just be like turned evil. I don't know if Watts will necessarily be controlling her. I imagine more just turned like evil mode kind of thing.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether he'll actually be controlling her like Pietro was controlling Penny, or remoting and like that, or if it's going to be different.
Sense, the idea that Arthur's going to hack into her so that Ironwood can control her to get the relic and stuff. But then Watts will probably take control at some point.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see how it's going to work exactly there. But yeah, overall, I loved this scene too.
Yeah, and I loved when Nora was like listing off people, and then you just Blake and Weiss
was like, you didn't mention Ren.
that was awesome. I really did like that bit.
Yeah, I really like it. I like these moments where, in between all the fighting and everything else going on, they have a moment just to talk and discuss things. And I really loved the discussion there between Penny, Weiss, and Blake. And it was a nice not Penny, Nora, Weiss, and Blake. And it was good to actually see these three talk together, because we haven't really had them actually talking together. It reminded me also of the chat that Weiss and Yang had back in volume 5, talking about Blake. It was just nice to just get both Weiss and Blake providing advice to Nora. I like that. That was good.
Another really subtle touch that I loved was when everyone walked back over to the computer.
Oh yeah.
It's like, wait, what the fuck's this? And Ruby's like, look, I'll stand up for me.
I think it was Weiss. I think Weiss sort of looked over Ruby, sort of like Pietro,
yeah.
And she's like, "There's Ruby's like, I don't know."
Something I noticed too, and maybe this is like just like grabbing different models from different models, like between animators. But I keep noticing that Penny has like damaged hands. Whenever you see like her model, you see like her hands are like scuffed and damaged.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm just trying to. I can't remember where that happened. I assume it was last volume. Maybe when she got the maiden powers. I just don't remember when her hands got...
Oh yeah, when she went to, and when the Winter Maiden was doing her thing, and she walked into the ice, and there was one point where it actually did hurt her hands. I'm pretty sure.
I know it hurt Winter's hand.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it with Penny as well.
Penny's boot got frozen.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure that's where it happened. I just can't remember the scene.
No.
And I just watched an episode 11, 12, and 13 reaction last night, and I still didn't see it. So
no, I don't know.
I'm just dumb or what? So I'm not too sure.
Unless you scuffed it somewhere else along the line, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Then of course we have the fight. That's the next part.
Yeah. Well, we also got the little scene with like everyone being like, well, you know, like as much as we love you, Penny, it's so much.
Oh
safer
yeah, of course.
Everyone.
Yeah, to go out to Amity. Yeah.
Just get as far away from the relic as possible.
Hey, thank you for the resub. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Just discussing chapter 3, Ruby Volume 8.
Yeah. So like So like I said, that's red flag.
Yeah.
Maria and Pietro.
Yes. Yeah.
And seeing how Ruby and Penny will both react to that if it happens, if they both return to normal.
That's okay, Iz. Thank you so much for popping in. Yeah, you might want to disappear because we are talking about the episode. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it.
Thank you. Yeah, and then like you said, we move into the fight.
Yes.
We also have like the Aesop's wreck. Like we have that little discussion first of like Maris and like we were holding back kind of thing, and and Vine trying to be like the peacekeeper between everyone, which I quite liked.
Yeah, but they're just guilt tripping poor Penny as well, trying to get her to come over to them. You know, people are getting hurt. You're it's your fault, sort of thing. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's been guilt tripping Penny for the past 2 volumes. Too, especially these past few episodes. It was interesting too because like I was thinking about it more and more, and I'm kind of like, I kind of get their opinions though, because Pinto obviously isn't going to tell them what happens.
No.
He's just going to give a story that is going to make sense. Like again, I thought, and like Harriet was like,
yeah, the power you stole from her.
I thought Harriet was more fair than Elm. I thought Elm was the worst.
Yeah.
Like Winter and stuff. Like I thought Harriet was at least being, to what she knows, being the truth. I thought was at least fairish. I thought Elm was the one who went a bit far. But
yeah, it's true.
But an interesting note. I'm curious if this is going to come up. Ruby got confirmation where Crow is. She got the answer to that.
Yes. Yep.
She didn't know that Crow was in prison.
Now she knows. Yep.
I'm curious if, because we were so certain on the prison break, and we were so wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if we still might get that.
We might still get the prison break, yes. We know they're in the facility somewhere there being held. I need to find out where exactly.
Yeah, but they could be anywhere in Atlas, really.
That's true.
But I guess with what's being dragged off, you'd assume you'd be somewhere close by.
Yeah, they're in the holding cells, if they're still in their holding cells, so,
It'd be interesting to see. But then we had the fight, and yeah, again, like I said, apart from a few shots that could have had a bit more frames in them, I thought it was really good. I actually quite enjoyed it. I really wasn't expecting it too, because it was like, I don't know why. It wasn't until they started fighting. It wasn't until the end of the fight I just realized, oh yeah, we just had a Maiden Aesop's fight. Like,
we did.
It's like I just wasn't expecting it, and even when I was watching it, I kept expecting it to end. Like I didn't expect it to go for as long as it did.
It did go for quite a while. Meanwhile, the others are like, I like how you see Weiss's knight trying to break down the door, not working.
Yeah, like, so don't get electrocuted. So who's expendable? Knight.
Well, it was funny too, like, Ruby's like, Penny's the winner, mate, and she'll be able to hold her own for a while, and it just cuts to Penny getting her ass whooped. Well, she was holding her own there for a while, but at the end of the day, though, she was fighting for experienced huntsmen, and she's trying to use power she hasn't yet learned how to control yet, so, yeah. But, yep, then Nora goes all Hulk smash, or Nora smash on the door. I like it, she's like, that was awesome, or that was bloody awesome, and then faints. Her aura runs out. Goodness gracious.
I love seeing Nora, like, running to her, Penny running to her.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit. We then obviously have, like, the confrontation between the teams again.
Yep.
Before we get into the next little bit.
I also liked how Mara got knocked off twice during that fight and had to be rescued. And also how when the Aesops left, he sort of gave them a sort of a look, you know, he really torn. I don't think he's liking this situation at all with, so that was interesting to see too.
I will say, like, it was interesting too, because I was looking forward to a bit more of the Aesops and, like, the, Ruby Rub fight. Obviously, Mara just knocked him off in order for them to get the blade to run away. So I was a little like, damn, I thought we were going to
I think it was Vine who knocked him off.
Oh, yeah. Who did I say?
You said Mara, but we're just talking about Mara, so it's okay. Vine knocked him off, and because that's when they received the message from Watts just to get one of Penny's blades, because at the end of the day, they wanted Penny. If they can't capture Penny, then, as Watts said, make them join you, sort of thing, rather than if you can't have them join you, make them join you. Hey, Matthias! Hi. Oh, Matthias, do you want a Christmas card? Let me know. You're one of the others I was going to message. That was interesting. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention too before I forget, send me a direct message, thank you. Is that when Ruby finally got the hug that we saw in the trailer. Ruby Penny hug. Also, so I'm sure we'll see you again soon. I'm thinking, oh no, that's like horrible foreshadowing that they're probably going to see Penny all hacked, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Penny for a few episodes now. Until
I just that when Ruby said, "I'm sure we'll see you again soon," I'm thinking, "Oh no!" Next time you see her, she won't be Penny. She'll probably be hacked, and it'll be horrible. I don't want that to happen. It'll be like we all thought maybe that Penny wasn't going to have her memories, and she wouldn't remember Ruby. And oh god, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
interesting name.
It's like I do want it, but I don't. I do though.
Yes.
I do want it.
Same, like I kind of got that it was going to head that way. We had some clues, some things in the intro as well, that it was going to go down this path. And in a way, it makes sense because Ironwood wants the relic. He has to get Penny to get the relic. Well, if you can't capture Penny and force her to do it, then this option with hacking. And I don't like it.
And like the question is, how does that end? Does that end with Penny being destroyed for the last and final time? Especially if Pietro is already gone by that point. Yeah,
well, that's true. Unless she uses the like we're theorizing, like with the relic makes her a real girl, then she won't need Pietro anymore.
But then again, I didn't really think about it when we discussed that last week. But then again, it can only be used for that.
It can only be used for one thing at a time.
So it's one of those things where then, if it's used again, she'll turn back to a robot. And
that's possible.
She'll be hacked at that point, or that like kind of reset her kind of thing. So
unless it is a one-off thing and that then fixes her, but maybe it can only actively be used for one thing at a time. Like at the moment, it's actively keeping Atlas up.
It creates something, it does something, and it can only do that one thing until
it has to be limitations on it. So
yeah. But again, that can only happen if Alice has already fallen, which in itself is already a horrible thing.
Yeah.
I doubt Ruby's gonna go like, "Yay, Penny!" and kill all of Atlas and Mantle.
No, it'll be already falling at that point.
So.
Dear. Yes, there's a lot of different ways this can go badly. Not many ways it could go good.
Yeah.
But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. It was really good.
It was a much more condensed one. Definitely didn't feel like 18 minutes watching it through it.
I think it was good just getting the one story without it getting interrupted by other bits. So I really, really enjoyed that. It was just, this is the Atlas team doing what they need to do. It was just nice to focus on one thing happening rather than going and seeing like the Mantle group, the villains, and other bits and pieces. It was good just to have one thing for the episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, and now I'm really curious, like I said, like what that team's going to do for the rest of the volume.
Join up with the others, I assume. I don't know. I guess we'll find out with the next episode. Sounds like it's going to cover everyone. So
yeah, it should cover.
I'm nervous for Penny too, Matthias. I don't like the idea of her being hacked. I'm just happy she's back. And
it should cover the Oscar hunt. It's
yes.
Apparently going to cover a Salem and Cinder conversation. The keyword they used there was ultimatum.
Ultimatum, so
right. I'll be very curious to see what choice Salem gives Cinder.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe was just those two. I think there was and mentions where the team.
An ultimato, no ultimatum. Is that what the caption said? Well, it's not, it shouldn't be picking up. Dawn should only be picking up me. Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Not an ultimatum.
Or an ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Oh God. Dude.
Goddamn Barb. But. I think that might be it. It was a pretty condensed episode, so I don't know how much more there really is to.
Was there anything else I was going to mention? I don't think so. I think I mentioned the things I wanted to talk about.
I quite liked May. She was quite sassy with the rest of the team. Rudely referring to Penny as a robo girl.
My name is Penny.
Especially for someone like her.
Yeah.
Who obviously has experienced being a different person and being different things of wanting to be called the right thing.
Yeah.
And that was May. You think May would know better, but
that was interesting with this episode when I watched it with Mum, because I watched these with Mum, and she really loved this episode too. She thought it was good. She said, "Oh, who's this guy?" Like, no, Mum, this is May. She's trans female, and she's like, "Oh, okay." I guess because May has her hair tied back, so it looked like front on view that May has short hair, and she's like, "Oh, who's this guy?"
well, that's interesting because I guess it kind of proves that the design kind of worked. Because I never,
Yeah.
because again, I would never assume that looking at them. But I guess if your mum did, I guess that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, she didn't mean it. She was like, "Who's this guy?" Like, no, this is May.
I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, and she's like, "Where'd they come from?" And they explained again about the Happy Huntresses and Robin. She's just like, "Oh, I forgot about them."
They were pretty minor last volume.
Yeah, so they were. It's nice seeing them in a. Well, yeah, it's good seeing them in more of a light this volume, as we mentioned last week. Yeah. I can just imagine Sailin seeing her ex in a body of a kid. Yeah,
that'd be interesting. I don't know if we'll quite get that this episode, but I definitely think we will soon.
Yeah, I guess depends if Yang, John, and Ren can catch up and free Oscar, but I see that very unlikely. Doubt it. But
I think they're gonna fail, and Ren's gonna get more depressed because Ren fails at everything. Which
yes.
He does, to be.
And then he's going to see Nora passed out, covered in burns.
The only thing Ren's ever done successfully is kill the Knucklebee.
Yes.
Everything else fails.
Poor Ren.
I love him, but he does. He
but I really like how they've done him with his war within himself as well, this last volume and this volume, really well. And I know there's a lot of people who haven't liked Ren this volume, but I think... Neith's done an amazing job with the voice acting, but also I think how it's been written's been really good as well. Because he's in war with himself over everything, and he sort of blames himself for everything that goes wrong. But yeah, it'll be interesting also to see his reaction with Nora and all the scars, burns.
It goes back to that idea of the like they'll have their scrolls, so maybe they can see when, like, you know, Ren might see that Nora's hurt and freak out because in the thumbnail, Ren seems very angry.
Oh right, well,
and Yang's behind her, kind of looking concerned. Plus, we will get in this episode, we almost 100% will get Cinder staying off into the distance.
Yeah.
The hover bike chase.
Oh yes, yep.
And Yang's reaction.
Yes.
So.
That's the last bits from the trailer. Yeah.
From the trailer, so we will get. I am 99% certain we'll get all those this episode.
Yeah, I say so. It makes sense. I think the reason why Ren's probably angry is because of Oscar. I'm pretty sure that will where that anger's from, rather than anything to do with Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be also interesting if it was at John, because also we had that seed planted in episode 2.
Yeah.
So interesting if something John does, maybe he suggests stopping, or he suggests some alternative.
Yeah.
Ren isn't down for it, and Yang's kind of just like, what family? What Juniper drama do I watch?
Ren's just angry at everything in himself right now. So yeah, I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, like Ren isn't angry at anything. Ren's just angry at himself.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not like just the situation. Like I said, he's blaming himself for everything that's going wrong right now. That's more what I mean. He's angry at everything.
He was always the most proactive one.
Yeah.
About Salem, he was always the most logical. He was always the most like, it's like we can't kill us, so what are we gonna do? Like, you know, it's like,
yeah.
It's like we should be training. You know, what's the point of doing this? What's the point of all this? You know, he was always the most kind of aware and thoughtful of the situation they were actually in. And to see that kind of now has led him nowhere, you know, hasn't really gotten him anywhere. Yeah.
What are these feelings? Yeah. He's always been the one who's been the most quiet, but it's good actually seeing him sort of struggling with things.
Matthias mentioned the feelings. Like, also, we had that scene in volume 7 where he was seemingly intentionally dulling his own emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he was sitting there using a semblance, seemingly just on himself.
Yeah.
Seemingly just kind of like, you know, he knows he doesn't want to deal with, you know, how he feels and stuff, and he just, you know, because he just wants to focus on the mission. That's all that's important to him, is Salem and the world and doing the right thing, you know. And yeah, then he finally got that sense of realization where he was like, well, we can't do anything with that, so let's do what we can do. And now that's been taken from him as well. So it's like, no matter what side Ren chooses, he always gets proven wrong, and that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Hell.
Mm.
The last thing I wanted to mention too is that Eddie had an AMA last night.
Yes.
One of the writers. He was a bit drunk, Thanksgiving drunk. Just a few things of I'm sure he mentioned so many things, but I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But I know he mentioned, like, someone asked about CL, and he, like, refused to talk about it. So it'd be interesting to see if that's something, because, like, again, and it's interesting to me because obviously some people would see that and go like, oh, that means Ciel must show up if he's not going to mention that kind of thing.
Maybe, but maybe not.
But I think it's more the idea of, why write yourself into that corner?
Yeah.
Why give an answer when there isn't an answer to have? Leave it open-ended, and then if you ever want to do something with her...
Yep, that's true.
It's there
hey, Nick! How are you?
Yeah, everyone's showing up at the last minute.
Yes, they are. Yes. That's all good.
And I can't remember... He said more than that. Like, yeah.
He said a few things. Yeah.
Just going and checking out Eddie Rivas on Twitter, and he's just done recently an AMA, and he's mentioned a few things RWBY-related. So I definitely go suggest doing that. Follow all the RWBY writers. You always get a few little...
Yeah, I've followed a few of them and some of the animators as well. Yeah.
Yeah. You always get a few tidbits.
Oh, we got the concept art for the Hound as well. That was also shared.
We got the reference art. We got the reference images 2 weeks ago, and I think last week we got the scale.
Yeah.
Reference as well.
Yes. I'm good. How are you, Nick? I'm just tired.
So Fault will be an interesting episode, I'm sure. I think it's again another 18-minute one, so it's about the same length.
They've been pretty consistent so far, which is good.
Pretty consistent so far. And hopefully that's a trend that stays. But yeah, I mean, if anyone else has any other RWBY-related questions, I think that might be it. For the stream. But thank you so much, everyone who's watching live and who's watching the VOD on Twitch or watching the VOD on YouTube. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to us. Me and Larissa love talking RWBY amongst ourselves, and we love come around and join along with us. We'll be here every week until the season's end, hopefully avoiding any sort of internet or moving issues as have disrupted our past streams. Or
hopefully.
RTX, but I think the RTX one we can safely not be a problem. But yeah.
Oh, but I was just reading the great one. I had her out already. But all hail the great one. Bow down to the great one's greatness. The great one. She's watching you.
But yeah. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes.
And we will see you next week, same time, 11 AM Australian Eastern Daylight Times. Google is your friend to find the other time zones for that. And we will be here discussing RWBY Volume 8, Episode 4. Fault.
Yes. Fault.
Oh,
was it Faults? Faults. It should be good. But yes, thank you all for watching and hanging out. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. And we'll catch you all later. Thank you all for watching. You're all amazing. Bye!